There is a problem when it comes to literacy these days, and that is that less kids are finding themselves to be literate. With the rise of TikTok and social media and short form content, people are less likely to want to read a book. And this is where I can't help but continually advocate for literacy. I totally understand the arguments of the would be reader when they say that they do not want to sit down and read The Great Gatsby. I am currently reading The Ambassadors by Henry James. And this book requires me to really think about what writing used to be and what it still can be in an age of instant gratification. People were writing at this time because that was all that there was to do. It was before the rise of mass media. But it is hard to read a novel with that in mind, because in our day of distractions and ready made entertainment, we just don't have the same attention and interest in reading difficult, complex books. But that is when I argue that that is exactly the point and what I will advocate for. I want to encourage people to try to read those books anyway, if for nothing else, then at least for the new experience. We are really missing something and missing out when we do not sit down and read deeply. I think that it's great that people still read online, such as short form articles or blogs, but that is not the same deep reading that you would do when reading a novel written in the 19th or early 20th century. In my opinion, that type of reading is very special and is the basis of quality literacy. It is very difficult to persuade people to sit down and read F. Scott Fitzgerald or Henry James, but the point to me is that we encourage people nonetheless. Encourage them to try to look at it from a different perspective. Come at it from your own point of view and your own interests. Obviously, you cannot force people to read books, much less read very in-depth and complicated books. But I believe that if you push yourself to try it and you push yourself to care about critical thinking and engaging with narrative and literature, you are opening the whole playing field and giving yourself an unbelievable amount of ammo and material with which to use to engage with the world. Literacy, a tool, a weapon. Deep thinking and deep reading is a gift, but also an asset. This, to me, is the essence of literacy. You read the complicated texts because you want to engage with something deeper, something more meaningful. When I think of my own experiences with deep reading and critical thinking and literacy in general, I can't help but think about how there is a deeper purpose and enrichment and enjoyment and fulfillment that I have found in my life that leads to a significant amount of pleasure and satisfaction, not to mention education and awareness. Maybe it isn't for everybody, and maybe it is true that digital media has forever changed the way that people read and consume information. The advent of artificial intelligence is just expediting that process. But what we are talking about here is the art of literacy, the ability to really think deeply and to read deeply. This is not just a skill, but also an art.